Shri Gurubhyo Namaha children. I welcome you all to our online learning initiative Ekalaiva. Today in this video we are going to learn the next chapter, next topic in our biotechnology, that is processes and principles of biotechnology. Okay, the topic what we are going to learn today is tools of recombination DNA technology. What do you mean by tools? Okay, tools are nothing but the materials required. Okay, for doing some process you need some materials. Okay, so in the same way the materials required, okay, here we are doing our work with our DNA, okay, with our genetic material. So all these materials, we are not going to use this scissors, gums and all, but we are going to use the tools which are doing the same function here with our DNA. This is our DNA. Okay, so some tools are required to prepare this recombinant DNA, and what are those tools, that is materials required here? When you see it is, first one is enzymes. Okay, then we need a vector, that is cloning vector. Okay, already in our first video we have seen about plasmid vectors. Okay, then we need a host cell, okay, for the multiplication of this DNA. Okay, in this video first we are going to see in detail about these enzymes which are used in this rDNA technology. So these three are the tools which we are going to use in this rDNA technology. Okay, so these tools, enzymes, okay, the first one is enzymes. Okay, in this, okay, the three main enzymes which are used in this process, when you see, restriction enzymes. Okay, so restriction enzymes are molecular scissors, okay, which are used to make the fragments of our DNA, okay, to cut our DNA. Okay, then polymerase enzymes. Okay, polymerase enzyme, already in DNA replication and all you have learned, it is used for the polymerization of chain DNA strand, that is elongation of our DNA strand. Okay, then next we are using our DNA ligase enzyme. Okay, already I told you DNA ligase, it is a molecular glue, okay, which is used to paste two or more fragments of DNAs together. Okay, so we are calling it as a molecular glue. Okay, in this video we are going to learn in detail about the functions of our restriction enzymes. And these restriction enzyme, as I told you already, they comes under the group of enzymes called nuclease. Okay, it comes under the group of enzymes called nuclease. Okay, so what is that nuclease enzyme? When you see this nuclease enzyme, it cuts our DNA strand. Okay, actually it degrades our DNA strand. Okay, that nucleic acids, okay, it might be of DNA and RNA, other nucleic acid. So it degrades our nucleic acid. How it is cutting? When you see here in structure of DNA, we have seen the role, impact of phosphodiester bonds. Okay, so you learned, you know the structure of nucleotides. Yes, ribose sugar, phosphate group, along with that nitrogenous bases, we will call it as nucleotide. Each and every nucleotide, okay, they bound together with the help of this phosphodiester bond. And what these nuclease enzymes are doing, when you see, they cut that, they break that phosphodiester bond so that it is making the DNA strand into fragments. Okay, so it is breaking that phosphodiester bond, and we have two types of nuclease enzyme, that is, the first one is the endonuclease. The first enzyme is endonuclease and the second enzyme is called exonuclease. So two types of this nuclease enzyme, it is endonuclease and exonuclease. Okay, endonuclease and exonuclease. Endo, okay, something inside, exo, outside. So here I will tell you what is the role of this endonuclease. So restriction enzymes comes under this under this endonuclease, so which cut within a DNA. Okay, that is, I will show you the picture. If the DNA strand is there, in between the strand it can make that cut. Okay, so that is endonuclease. And exonuclease, okay, this which degrade DNA from the terminae of the molecule, that is at the ends. Okay, they will remove the nucleotides only from the ends. Okay, you know the 3' and 5' ends of our DNA. So it will remove those nucleotides only from the ends, that is exonuclease. Okay, so we will see it here. See, this is the action of our endonuclease and exonuclease enzyme. So here when you see endonuclease, it is making internal cuts. So endonuclease, it makes internal cuts. Okay, internal cuts. Here you can see that this is a strand of DNA. Okay, it is cutting in between that DNA. That is the function of endonuclease. Okay, whereas when you see exonuclease, here you can see the exonuclease is making that cuts only from the ends of the DNA strand. So that is exonuclease. It is very clear here with the primes, that is 5' end and 3' end. This is actually a single strand of this DNA. Okay, so this exonuclease, when you see, it is cutting only from the ends of this DNA strand. Okay, so this is the function of exonuclease. And endonuclease, when you see, this endonuclease, it is making cut in between the DNA. Here it is making that cut so that it is making a fragment from the middle of this DNA strand. So that is the function of this exonuclease and endonuclease. Okay, and R restriction enzyme, okay, it comes under this endonuclease, restriction endonuclease enzyme. And this restriction endonuclease enzyme, it is of 3 types. Okay, that is type 1, type 2 and type 3 restriction endonuclease. And in that type 2 restriction endonuclease, it is mostly used in the field of this rDNA technology. What is the reason? When you see type 1, type 2, type 3, all they can cut our DNA, but what is the speciality with our type 2? When you see type 1 cuts DNA as far as 100 base pairs from the recognition sites. Already I told you these restriction enzymes are having their particular recognition site where they can go and cut. But this type 1 restriction enzymes, when you see, they can go for these many base pairs to cut. They are not specific in their site to make that cut. Okay. In the same way, this type 3 also, when you see, it cuts approximately 25 base pairs from the recognition site. That is, here type 1, 1000 base pairs from the recognition sites. So you just imagine what will be the length, okay, where it can make that cut. Okay, the recognition sequence, for example, this is our DNA strand and this is the recognition sequence. From here it can go up to 1000 base pairs to make the cut. So it is not specific cut. Okay, and here also it can go for 25 base pairs. But when you see our type 2 restriction enzymes, see, used in this is most commonly used in biotechnology. Why? When you see, okay, they cut at desired location. These restriction enzymes will have each and every restriction enzyme, I will show you afterwards, they will have their own recognition sequence. In that particular sequence, they will make that cut. Okay, so that is the speciality of our type 2 restriction enzymes, so that they are widely used in the field of this rDNA technology. This is about the types of restriction enzyme and the discovery of restriction enzyme. When you see, the first discovered restriction enzyme is our HIN2. Okay, the name of the enzyme is HIN2. Okay, we'll see about the nomenclature in our next slide. So HIN2, it is the first discovered restriction enzyme. Okay, it was accidentally discovered in the year of 1970s by the group of scientists when they were doing some other work. Okay, and this is extracted from the bacteria called Haemophilus influenza. Okay, it is extracted from the bacteria called Haemophilus influenza. Okay, and it recognizes, I told you, no, each and every restriction enzymes, they are having their own recognition site, and this is the recognition site for this HIN2 enzyme, and this HIN2 enzyme exactly when you are using, okay, if this strand is there, for example, this is our DNA, double-stranded DNA, and in that double-stranded DNA at one place, okay, it is having the sequence, this one. Yes, okay, so this is the restriction site for this IN2 enzyme. If our DNA is having this particular sequence, when you use this IN2 enzyme, automatically what it will do now, it will go and make the cut here. So it is cutting our DNA like this. Okay, this type of cut will produce 2 strands of DNA, and this type of ends, we used to call it as blunt ends. Okay, blunt ends. Yes. So this is actually the function of our first discovered restriction enzyme. Okay, next we will see about the nomenclature. So when you see about the nomenclature for this restriction enzyme, okay, it is having some rules. What are those rules? When you see the first letter of that enzyme, it is derived from genus. For example, the first discovered enzyme is our HIN2. Okay, in that H, it is in capital letter and it is taken from the genus of that bacteria, that is Haemophilus, H. Okay, then the next 2 comes from the specific species name. Okay, what is the species name there? Influenza. Okay, Haemophilus influenza. Influenza is the species name. So second 2 letters, okay, they are taken from the name of the species, that is IN. Okay, then the next letter is the name of the strain. Strain in the sense within the same species, okay, there will be each and every species, that is similar species. It is Haemophilus influenza, group of Haemophilus influenza, but okay, they will differ in some of their biochemical properties. So under that condition, we can group them, the same species, into separate groups. That thing we will call it as strain. Okay, and here the next letter, that is the 4th letter, is showing the strain of that particular bacteria. So here D is the strain of that particular bacteria, and the final letter, okay, you will be using some Roman numbers. Letter tells you the order of identification of that particular enzyme. Okay, the order, first discovered, second discovered. For example, this IN2, okay, even we have IN3 enzyme. Okay, HIN3 enzyme, okay, it was discovered after the discovery of this HIN2. Okay, so it is showing that order of identification, discovery of that particular enzyme. So this is about the nomenclature of this enzyme, and some examples are given. We'll see some more examples. See here, EcoR1, actually it is from E. coli, that is Escherichia is the genus name, E is taken from genus name, CO is taken from species name, okay, and then R is the strain. So E from the genus, CO is from the species name, and R is the strain name, and this is the first discovered enzyme in that series. Okay, then HIN3, okay, the same thing, Haemophilus influenza, H, influenza, okay, 2 letters from species, strain, and this is the order. It was discovered after the discovery of HIN2 enzyme. Okay, in the same manner, PALM-H1, okay, it is from the Bacillus bacteria B, and it is from the species called Amyloliquefaciens. So the first 2 letters we are taking, that is AM, and strain is H, and it was the first discovered enzyme in that, from that particular bacteria. So this is about the nomenclature of these restriction enzyme. Okay, and these are some examples for restriction enzymes with their recognition sequences. Okay, so PALM-H1, when you see the recognition sequence, it is GGATCC. Okay, some star is given here. Okay, that is nothing but that is a place where this enzyme will go and make that cut. Okay, wherever it is given, that star is given, that is a place where the enzyme will make that cut. And here it is here, and here it is here. Okay, so this is about the recognition sequences for few restriction enzymes. Okay, and next we are going to see about the restriction enzyme action. That is a very familiar, okay, most widely used restriction enzyme in this rDNA, that is EcoR1. Okay, just now we have seen EcoR1, it is a restriction enzyme which has been extracted from our E. coli bacteria. Okay, now we are going to see the function of this EcoR1. Okay, so this, before going into this EcoR1 function, you should know something called palindromic sequence. Okay, actually this palindromic sequence, what is the meaning of palindrome? Okay, so that palindrome is nothing but it is a group of letters, okay, that reads same forward and backward. Okay, a group of letters, okay, for example Malayalam. Okay, so when you read front, forward and backward, same, okay, word you will be getting. So those kinds of words we used to call them as a palindromic words. And here, what is a palindromic sequence? When you see, the palindrome in DNA is a sequence of base pairs, that read the same on the two strands in 5' to 3' direction. Okay, you know that the strands in our DNA, they are complementary strands. One strand is from 5' to 3' end, the other strand is from 3' to 5' end. Okay, when you make these two strands with the same orientation, that is 5' to 3', the same way 5' to 3'. When you are doing like that, okay, these particular sequence, okay, will be, okay, we can read them in the same sequence. Okay, an example is given here. See here, from 5' to 3', this is actually a double stranded DNA, 5' to 3' and the complementary strand is from 3' to 5'. Okay, so 5' to 3' when you see, it is having T, T, A, G, C, A, C. Okay, when you just bring this 5' end here, you just imagine how you can read the sequence in the same way. Okay, T, T, A, G, C, A, C. So this kind of sequence we used to call them as palindromic sequence. And what is the significance of this palindromic sequence? When you see, that is a place, that is a recognition site for our restriction enzymes. So action of EcoR1, okay, this restriction enzyme, see it is cutting here. So this is the sequence for, this is the sequence for our restriction enzyme EcoR1, that is GAATTC, and in the same manner from 5' to 3', GAATTC. Okay, so this is a particular site where it is making this cut. Okay, so this is the restriction site for our EcoR1. We'll see in the next slide how this EcoR1 is making that cut. Okay, so action of this restriction enzyme, when you see, restriction enzymes, okay, it is not only EcoR1, any restriction enzyme, okay, how they are cutting our DNA? When you see, restriction enzymes cut the strand of DNA a little away from the center. If it is a type of restriction enzyme which is producing what is that sticky end in that DNA, okay, they will cut the DNA little away from the center of that particular sequence, that is palindrome site. Okay, so the palindrome site for our EcoR1 is okay, for this enzyme, okay, it is not for EcoR1, this is some particular enzyme they have given. So this is a palindromic sequence. So how they are cutting? When you see, if you take this palindromic sequence, this is actually the center. Okay, 6 base pairs are there, bases are there, nitrogenous bases are there. So this is the center, but how it is cutting? When you see, it is little away from the center, little away from the center of this palindromic sequence. So when it is cutting like this, okay, when it is cutting like this, okay, it will be producing the strand, producing the ends called sticky ends. Okay, when this enzymes, okay, where these enzymes cutting our DNA little away from the center of that palindromic sequence, they will be producing the ends in this manner. Okay, there will be here overhanging strand. Okay, one of this DNA strand will be overhanging the other strand. Okay, see, after digestion of DNA with certain restriction enzymes, the ends left have one strand overhanging the other. So this is that strand here and this is that strand here. Okay, this strand, actually it is a double stranded DNA. In that double stranded DNA, when you see, this strand is overhanging this strand, and this type of end we used to call it as sticky end. Okay, why it is called sticky end? When you see here, this is the two pieces of DNA. Okay, and when you see this, see here they have, what is that? Adenosine, nitrogenous base, you know, adenosine, and this is adenosine, and this is thymine, and this is thymine. What is a complementary base for adenosine to get attached to form hydrogen bond? That is thymine. Okay, see in the next strand it is having thymine. Okay, so here there will be, it is easy for them to make hydrogen bonds in between these strands. Okay, so hydrogen bond can be very easily, okay, made to stick these two strands together. So these sticky ends helps in the pasting of these fragments of DNA. Because of that only these ends are called sticky ends. Important 2-mark question. Okay, it can be asked in your board exam. Okay, why they are named so sticky ends? Okay, the sticky ends, otherwise they are known as cohesive ends. Okay, the other name for our sticky end, it is cohesive end. Okay, so now you know how these sticky ends are made by our restriction enzyme. Okay, when you see the process of cloning, you will come to know what is the significance of this sticky end. Okay, children, so this is how the restriction enzymes are making the sticky end, and the presence of sticky end okay, making our DNA ligase to work efficiently. Okay, DNA ligase is an enzyme which is, okay, suppose if it is having one more DNA strand here, okay, it is sticking this strand with this strand. Okay, and when it is sticking it together, these hydrogen bonds are helping in that process of sticking these strands together. Okay, so this is called our sticky ends. Now we'll see how our echo R1 is working. Okay, so echo R1, already we have seen the recognition sequence is GAA-TTC. Okay, GAA-TTC in one strand, the other strand ulta. Okay, it is CTT-AAG. Okay, this is, for example, 5' to 3', and here it is 3' to 5'. Okay, so now this is our vector DNA, this is our foreign gene. Okay, what is a recombinant DNA? Recombinant DNA is a combination of our vector DNA and our desirable gene, that is our foreign gene. So when you take those two things, the first procedure I told you in that first video, it has to be treated with same restriction enzyme, because both vector and DNA should have the same types of ends. Okay, a sticky end here in the vector and the same type of sticky end should be there in the foreign gene, so that they can get attached together to form our DNA. So here what happens? Our foreign DNA and the vector DNA, both of them, they are treated with the enzyme, restriction enzyme called echo R1, and you know that this echo R1, it is a restriction enzyme which is producing a sticky end. Okay, so it will be making exactly cut here in this place. Okay, it is cutting the DNA in between, in both the strands, it will be cutting in between the same sequence, same bases. Okay, so here when you see, it is between G and A, and here also it is between G and A. Okay, so it is cutting, and it is cutting little away from the center of this sequence, palindromic sequence, so that what happens, it is producing this overhanging strand. Okay, this type of end with the overhanging strand, we used to call it as sticky end. So the same kind of sticky end is produced in cloning vector as well as in our foreign gene. Okay, when you use DNA ligase here, this DNA ligase will bring these two strands closer. Will bring these two strands closer. Okay, that is the function, actual function of our DNA, to paste this place with this place and this place with this place. When it is coming like that, what happens here? See, here we have thymine, thymine, adenine, adenine, and here it is adenine, adenine, thymine, thymine. So there will be the formation of hydrogen bond in between this T and A, T and A and T and A and T. So these two DNA, they stick together. So there we got a combination of DNA, so which results in the formation of our recombinant DNA. So this is how restriction enzymes are having their important role in making our recombinant DNA. Thank you, children.